Hey lovers, this is Dr. Kat and I am talking to you from Thailand. I've decided to make these series of videos to talk to you about sex, love, and embodiment. So today I want to talk to you about training your pelvic floor for greater sex, greater sexual potential, pleasure, all the yummy things. So why is it important to train your pelvic floor? So a lot of us walk around very disconnected, not only with our body, but also with our pelvic floor, our lower genital region. So given our society where we're very much focused on productivity, or we're very focused on what I need to get done today, or we're very self-conscious about, and not self-conscious in a way of how can I grow, but self-conscious in a way of how does everybody perceive me, or how do people think that I'm showing up here? Do people think I'm awful? Which is awful. But it happens to so many of us, causes us to be very heady in this headspace up here. And maybe sometimes we can tune into our racing heart when it's super loud and banging against our chest, or maybe we tune into the pains of our body. But are we connected with some of the more subtle sensations that are going on, like our breath? Are we tuning into how deep our breath is going? Do we feel it down into our abdominals? Do we feel it down into our pelvic region? Are we even aware of what's going on in our pelvic region? In fact, if you bring your attention down into your pelvis right now, I invite you to bring it down into the PC muscles or your anus muscles, and notice what sensation you're picking up here. Noticing, for many of us, maybe you're clenching here. Maybe the muscles are really tight, or maybe you're really relaxed down there. What is causing some of these sensations? So oftentimes when we're experiencing more of a clenching of the muscles, which can be perpetuated by things like stress or lifestyle. For many of us who are so type A focused, maybe so focused on productivity or getting shit done or go, 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 what you'll find is that we're pulling the energy up, we're pulling our muscles up, and we're a tight ass. So we're clenching here, we're gripping on tight. Think about some of the things the lifestyle that you're leading. Think of some of the things that you might be holding on tight to. When we're consciously or unconsciously in this state of worry, or we're processing things all the time, we may find that we're clenching up into the muscles, meaning we're ungrounded. We're not down into the body, we're not dropping down deep, but we're up here in this headspace. Makes sense, right? Another reason might be that we are feeling more. Sometimes the tension can even come from things like doing too many Kegel exercises improperly, causing more that hypertense state of being in our pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor is a series. It's almost like a basket of muscles, and working together to keep and to hold and support our organs. Now, for some of us, again, if we're hypertension in the pelvic floor, then we may experience that ungrounded feeling, or it may prevent or impact our orgasms. Again, because orgasm has to be able to be relaxed in order to have the contractions for an orgasm to occur. So if we're always tight there, then it impacts our ability to have that. Other reasons that we might be tight may be due from past traumas, traumas that we're holding in the muscle memory, traumas as in whether it's a negative sexual experience that happened one time and then we projected it would happen again and again and again, so then our muscles want to contract to be able to protect ourselves, still holding that unprocessed trauma or unprocessed negative experience, or trauma from a even more intense sexual experience that our body remembers and again wants to protect ourselves. So for some women, they might experience vaginismus or dyspareunia, pain in sex, or inability for any type of insertion in sex because the muscles have gotten conditioned to tense up as a out of a way for protection. On the flip side, we can also experience what's called hypertonic pelvic floor, and that would mean that the muscles are long, weak. So they're hypertense are weak muscles because they're so engaged all the time, or the majority of the time, that they're weak. Or we can have hypertonic, which means that the muscles are long, weak. And that can come from things like chronic coughing, or from pregnancy, having birth, or with age we may gain incontinence, which means that we have difficulty holding our urine and having to pee urgently. Or sometimes we can experience prolapse of the organs down into the pelvic region, the organs that are supposed to maintain up, but because of the weak muscles, they drop down. So ways that, and these can also impact our sexual capacity, our ability for pleasure. So ways that we want to train the pelvic floor in a way that doesn't create hypertense. Some of the ways are using Kegel exercises properly. And I'm talking about growing up, I was taught, do your Kegels all the time, as many times as you want to. When you're in the grocery line, do your Kegels. When you're sitting in class, do your Kegels. And that was really drilled into us for a long time. Even the sex professionals were telling us to do our Kegels. But what we've discovered now is that doing too many Kegels and doing it improperly causes that tension, which causes us even more problems to start. So if you have hypertense muscles, avoid Kegels. Work with a pelvic floor specialist, work on deep breathing exercises, and I mean breathing down into your abdominal region, so breathing with your diaphragm, and imagine relaxing the muscles down, so practicing that deep relaxed down. However, if you do want to use, if you don't have hypertense muscles, and using the Kegels to help to train your pelvic floor, when you squeeze up and then deep relax down. So we want to constantly pair any squeezing, any strengthening, any drawing up with a deep relax down. What we can also use with that is a jade egg practice or Yoni egg practice to help to train the muscles. So Yoni eggs are amazing because we can use it for many different reasons, and we can use it by circulating the lips of the vulva and the entrance of the vaginal canal to get to connect and map the sensation that I'm feeling down in my vulva to the brain. This is what this feels like. I can find pleasure here, or maybe this is numb here, and I am building a greater awareness, dropping my mind down to my vulva. You can also insert the egg, so waiting for your muscles to relax enough that it will draw the egg in instead of forcing the egg in, which can cause also some minor or major trauma for yourself. Your body saying, hey, I'm not ready yet, and you're like, yes you are, and take this. But instead practicing relaxing, practicing breathing until the egg is until your vulva welcomes the egg. So once the egg is inside, practicing specific, you can practice squats, you can practice squeezing and deep releasing, squeezing, deep releasing. You can practice, for some women, they're able to isolate the specific muscles one after another and gently squeezing, almost like you're playing a piano with your vulva muscles. Or you can practice yoga postures with your Yoni egg in, can be really powerful. But again, matching that with deep releasing down. Other ways that you can practice training your pelvic floor, doing a self massage. So whether you want to use a Thera wand or you want to use a dildo or a gemstone dildo, or a gemstone self-massage. They have different types of shapes. You can read up about those. The Yoni Empire is one of my favorites for selling incredible shaped gemstone dildos for self-pleasure and for self-massage. So using those for insertion, again, you can create the connection between your mind and your vulva and your vaginal canal and cervix even, by taking these tools and pressing onto the walls and feeling into them, finding specific points of pleasure for yourself, or you may find points of emotional, stored emotion. You may find that when you press on one, you get a lot of tension built up here in that muscle. And by breathing and staying with the sensation, we can learn to really relax into the vaginal walls to be able to increase pleasure potential. Even working with a pelvic floor specialist or sex body worker can be very powerful, because they can help you understand what exactly you're feeling. So helping you to map the inside of your vulva. I worked with one specifically, and she helped me to understand, okay, so here's your G spot. Here's what's called the K spot. Here I can tell that you're holding difficulty with feeling that you deserve pleasure. And here, and she pressed on one, and the whole muscle started spasming. And so we were able to process through what was coming up for me. It can be really empowering for you to understand and build a relationship with your vulva. And that is just priceless, to be able to have that experience, especially in the safety of somebody holding space for you, who knows what they're doing, who highly respects you and holds you in whatever emotions arise for you. For many of us, we've cried in sex, or we've freaked out in sex, given, again, whatever we've experienced in our lives. And to be met with compassion and to be met with pure presence is highly healing for us, and can contribute to us being able to let go in sex, which is highly vulnerable, and somebody seeing us and witnessing us in our authenticity throughout. Other ways that we can do is to be able to train our pelvic floor is building awareness and practice the relaxation throughout the day. So my type of lifestyle is go, go, go. I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly producing. However, I have a consistent practice of deep relaxing my muscles. So when I do find myself getting ungrounded, or when I do find myself, getting up in my head, I know the exact sensation of when I start to pull up, and I have a consistent practice of relaxing back down. Or even if I do get unconscious in my day, just tuning in. Oh, I'm holding up here. And a lot of times I can find that whether that's my first indication of feeling ungrounded, or maybe my feeling of ungrounded comes in as I get a little overly excited. I'm like, and then I have to realize, okay, relax your root, relax. And that can be as well. Anytime I might get anxious or concerned or self-conscious about how I'm showing up, that might be the first place that I go to relax, and I can literally find my self-consciousness simply wash straight out. So highly important to train your pelvic floor, not only for your own relationship with your vulva, but to increase your orgasms, to increase your pleasure potential, to increase your sensations, and to help you get embodied. Who doesn't want to feel good in their daily life and in sex? For more tips on up-leveling your sex, love, and embodiment, follow me on Instagram at sexloveyoga, or check out more of these videos that I'll be doing as my trip in Thailand unfolds. Until next time.